pilot one has the word.
The pilot, the language is better. I'd like to bring this meeting of the school committee to order. Welcome everybody here and welcome our viewers on television. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. First item tonight is an enjoyable item. We have some commendations. Dr. Mastis.
Good evening, everyone. We are very honored tonight to have guests in attendance at school committee. As some of you remember, during our opening day activities to the school year, I mentioned that we had a number of projects that took place over the summer, and we had a great deal of community support to be able to engage in those projects. I don't think that we would have been able to have these projects complete if it wasn't for the unbelievable support by a number of groups from throughout the community. Tonight, we are fortunate to have a number of people that were instrumental in moving the playground from Mount Pleasant, all the way from Mount Pleasant, and install it here at PCIS on the grounds of the Plymouth Early Childhood Center. Now, we were looking at how we were going to get this done. Mary Mello, the director of the Early Childhood Center, called me in and said, "Gary, I have a plan." And she rallied support from parents and other community members and business owners from the area to actually come together and help us to get this done. I'm going to mention the individuals and the organizations that actually helped to get this done, and then I have some plaques that we will pass out to them. The plaques were just made over the weekend. They're made at South High School. One of our teachers actually did them at his shop over the weekend to get them ready for tonight. So before we begin with the presentation, I just want to mention the individuals. We have Speakman Excavation, Mr. Sam Speakman. He supported us with site work. I came through the day that they brought the heavy machinery in, and we had to actually go down a couple feet to take that top layer off of dirt away, and that was done by Speakman Excavation. We have Mike Donnelly and Mr. Dave Foster from Foster Creative Design for skid steer operation and mulch moving. It's a lot of work to be wheelbarrowing loads of mulch around, and they came in with the machine and made quick work of that. Matt Trainer from Altitude Services, he and his crew moved and installed the climbing structures, installed new stairs, provided rails to bring the equipment up to code, and he also donated concrete for the projects. Big job to go and move it, bring it in good shape, and reinstall it. And Dan Gorsica of Red Brook, Plymouth, he's a consultant, and actually I met with Dan probably in May of last school year to actually just walk through what the project was. He actually coordinated the work for us, and that's is due to Makepeace Corporation, which is the owner of Red Brook in Plymouth. And also the Plymouth Early Childhood Center, PTA. They have been working diligently fundraising, and they paid for the mulch and the manpower to spread cubic yards of mulch on a very rainy day. So I'm not sure if you've had a chance to drive behind PCIS and take a look at the Early Childhood Center playground. Last year, on its first year of existence here at PCIS, it was a dirt area where kids were playing, and it was Mary's vision to actually bring that play structure over and install it. And today it is complete, and it would not have been complete without the generosity of the individuals I mentioned. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to mention their names, and we'll have a plaque for them. And just want to thank them so much for all the work that they did to help us to make this come true. This on? Hold up 1 second. It's on, okay. All right, we're going to start off with Speakman Excavation. We have Mr. Sam Speakman. He's not here tonight, so thank you so much to Speakman Excavation. We have members of the Plymouth Early Childhood Center PTA. Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for motivating it and raising funds. We have Mr. David Foster, principal and owner of Foster Creative Designs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
There you go. We have Mr. Mike Donnelly, project manager from Foster Creative Designs. And we have Dan Gorsica from AD Makepeace and Company at Red Brick Project. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we have Matt Trainer from Altitude Services Incorporated. Thank you, and I know there are staff members here. Thank you for coming out tonight and honoring the people that really helped to make this happen. Thank you so much.
And the school committee thanks you as well for your energy, your commitment, and your dedication. Much appreciated. Thank you very much.
Thank you. They should have somebody take a group picture.
Is there anybody attending tonight's meeting who isn't already on the agenda who would like to address the school committee? Okay. I'll then move to the next item, which is our student representatives, and we'll start with Isabella this evening.
Right, so good evening. We started our year in our new school
The
and
microphone.
yep. Here. Is that better?
Just speak up, Isabella.
Okay, so we started our year off in a new building, and the positive energy is so like abundant in the school. You can walk through and everybody's smiling and there's lights everywhere, and teachers don't even need to turn the lights on in the classroom, and it's so nice. And everybody loves it, and students actually were doing the public tours. Over 1,000 people came to see it. And we're also doing the ribbon cutting ceremony, which is this Thursday, September 14th at 6 o'clock in our new auditorium. Students are also going to be doing tours then too, if you guys want to come check it out. Our enrollment has increased by 91 students since June, so our total is 1,094 students. And our freshman class is really big this year with almost 300 people. And our first week, we raised over $850 for our Denim Day for Texas, which donations going towards the district effort with the shipping costs of school supplies to families affected by Hurricane Harvey. And then we're doing another fundraiser on Friday, September 15th. We're going gold in an effort to give the boot to pediatric cancer. So students and staff are going to wear gold, and then they can donate money to at lunches and stuff like that. And our staff is going to be starting their professional learning committees after school this week on Wednesday, and they're focusing on social emotional wellness. They'll meet in small groups 4 different times over the course of a year. Our parking has gone well, even though this is a very long walk, but we're getting used to it. We're adjusting. The rain is sometimes a pain, but this week we're going to have a drawing, so those who already paid for parking passes are going to be entered for a drawing, and whoever wins the drawing gets parking up by the school for a term, so it renews every single term to try to get as many people as we can to get parking up there. So what clubs and fall sports are starting up. Girls soccer is 2-0, and they have a game today. Cross country, we won a lot of medals over this weekend in the Vineyard. Boys soccer is 1-0. They only had one game. Field hockey has their first game today, and girls volleyball has their first game today. Our varsity football lost on Friday, but that's okay. We'll get them this week. This Friday night is our home opener at 7 p.m. Our combined marching band, performed extremely well this year at the North Football Game Friday, and we look forward to them coming to our school this Friday. And our theater is going to perform its own musical this fall. It's Little Women, and Mr. Luciana and his staff are very excited to start auditions this week.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're
Ed.
welcome.
Good evening. The academic school year has started off strong. Biomedical classes have investigated a staged crime scene. ELA classes have received introductory classes to our Learning Commons, and Chromebooks have been seen everywhere. Open house for Plymouth North High School will be held on Thursday, September 28th, 2017 from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Parents and guardians are invited to attend and follow their students' schedule and meet their child's teachers. Parents and members of the class of 2018 should visit the Plymouth North website or view our Plymouth North Daily Bulletin located on our school televisions daily for important up-to-date yearbook deadlines and information. The information on the Plymouth North website and the Daily Bulletin contains important information that will prevent you from missing any yearbook deadlines. Plymouth North High School encourages all students to be involved with various clubs, sports, and activities it offers. Find something that interests you and become a part of the after-school community, or attend one of our many scheduled sporting events to support our athletic teams. Beginning this week at Plymouth North High School will be hosting college visits during all 4 lunches. These visits are for students to speak with the representatives from the college, university in order to learn more about what each one has to offer. A full listing of visiting colleges, universities, and the armed forces can be found on the Plymouth North website on the Plymouth North Daily Bulletin located on our television screens daily. Plymouth North and South High Schools invite all college-bound students and parents to attend this year's college fair, where over 150 colleges, universities, and the armed forces will be available to speak with this college fair, which will be held on Tuesday, October 17th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. in the Plymouth North High School Gymnasium. The Plymouth North varsity homecoming game will be held on Friday, September 22nd at 7 p.m. against Hingham High School. The Plymouth North Homecoming Dance is Sunday, September 23rd. Tickets are now on sale until Friday, September 15th, before or after school in room 331 or 352. The cost of tickets is $15 each or $12 plus 2 canned goods. Check or money order only, made out to PNHS SAF. Lifetouch sports pictures will be taken on Friday, October 13th. In addition, any students needing picture retakes will be held on Thursday, November 2nd during K Block. Breakfast is an important start of the day and available daily to all students from 7 a.m. to 7:20 a.m. Breakfast can be purchased in the cafe or in the gym lobby concession stands. Students who receive free lunches would be able to receive free breakfast. Reduced lunch students would pay 30 cents, and the regular cost for breakfast is $1.50. Starting Tuesday, September 12th, late buses will be available on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Late buses will depart from Plymouth North at 4:05 p.m. on those days. The Plymouth North boys and girls cross-country teams traveled this past Saturday to Martha's Vineyard to compete in their invitational meet. In all, we had 11 medal winners, including the team victory in both the boys and junior varsity divisions. In addition, senior Nick McName set a course meet record with his placing first overall. Plymouth North's AP Studio Fall show will be held at Bramhall's Country Store. Opening reception is Saturday, September 30th from 6 to 8 p.m. The artwork will remain on display until October 5th. We encourage all families to follow us on Twitter and to like us on Facebook and to utilize the Plymouth North website for all things happening here at Plymouth North High School.
Great report from both of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next item is old business. Any committee members or sports or central office to bring up items under old business? Okay, yes?
I think that Dr. Myesis told me during over the summer that they had fixed the lighting, the last one that I mentioned about the lighting at Nathaniel Morton, so that could be closed. Just to follow up.
Yes, the backlight.
Backdoor
Yeah.
light.
So the last one
All
could be
right, I'll
closed.
cross it off the list. Thank you. Anything to come up under new business?
That's good, it's backlight now.
Okay. Reports and proposals from the superintendent. Dr. Maestas.
Yes, good evening once again. I have a few items to report. I think the school year is off to a good start. I say I think because as of today, we're doing really well. It's probably one of the best starts that we've had in my time in Plymouth. Great start. People are really excited about the buses. The parents are really excited about them. It's been encouraging to see the excitement. A reminder for school committee that we have the ribbon cutting ceremony on the 14th, and we'll begin at 6 p.m. We also have a number of student tour guide leaders that will be providing tours around South High School for people that are coming to visit, so that they can actually get a good view of the school. And that will be after the ribbon cutting. We have a great presentation planned. Mrs. Fry and staff at the school have been very busy preparing something special for our guests coming on Thursday. One of the things that I had the opportunity to work on last week is PAC TV is working with the schools and also communities around the area to work to produce a telethon for the devastation in Houston and Florida. That telethon will be on the 23rd from 5 to 8 p.m. We're going to have some student reporters just doing some work throughout the community here in Plymouth, but there will be a televised telethon that will be on the 23rd from 5 to 8 p.m. Also, I had the opportunity to meet with the school committee student representatives. I actually went to North High and picked up our North High representatives, brought them over to South, and I met with all 4 of our representatives. And I spent probably 45 minutes with them, kind of talking to them about what it meant to be a representative of the school committee and how the school committee really encouraged them if they saw items on the agenda that they would be interested in speaking to, that the school committee would consider moving those items up earlier in the evening so they could take part in them. And also, if they believed that there were items on the agenda that they wanted to comment to, that they could actually have that opportunity to do that. And they were very appreciative of the information that I shared with them, and they seemed very open to speak to me about any comments or any issues that they felt that they needed to be aware of for the school committee. And I really told them that this is something that the school committee has really encouraged for some time, and I thought it was important for me to be able to convey that to them, and it was a really good meeting. School committee on the road. I know we discussed school committee going on the road, and we do have some dates for you to put in your calendar. We are going to have 4 school committee not meetings, but tours of buildings and talking to staff and students. But the first one will be Tuesday, October 3rd, and we will begin, I would say, if you got there at 8:45 at Plymouth South Elementary School. So that will be the first one. Plymouth South Elementary School, 8:45 a.m., not p.m. And we will be walking through the building, have an opportunity to go outside and see the new field. And that'll be, once again, on October 3rd. That's a Tuesday, and it'll be at 8:45. Our studio will be prepping at 8:45, but we will start the tour and taping of that show will begin at 9. All right, so that should be a good morning. Also, on Wednesday, October 11th, Hedge Elementary School. That will be at the same time frame. Setup will be about 8:45, and we will begin at 9 a.m. So if you got there between 8:45 promptly, at 9 we will start. So we have South Elementary in the book for October 3rd, Hedge Elementary in the book for October 11th, and we are working for Federal Furnace Elementary for January 11th. We don't have a time yet, and we're looking at Management Elementary School for Tuesday, March 6th. We don't have a time.
March what?
March 6th.
6th.
Yes.
All of these are 8:45 a.m.?
Well, the Federal Furnace and Management, we don't
to
have
be
a
worked
time
out,
yet,
right.
and I will update you when we do have them. But just if you could, it will be, hopefully we'll shoot for the morning, but just put those dates in your book, and we'll have an opportunity to see how this new format works, and hopefully we can try to engage our staff and students. We walk through and kind of see the work they're doing in schools, and actually kind of see some of the work that's been done in our buildings over the summer.
Just let me make a comment about that. It probably wouldn't happen, but the luck of the draw, there could be a morning that none of us are available. So we need to know ahead of time, because this program can't go without school committee members. Is that correct?
Absolutely. So take a look at your calendars. If we see that we have a morning where you can't make it and there's no one available, we'll have to move it. You're the
I already
priority.
know that Wednesday, October the 11th, I will not be available.
All right. So we will look at and see what we can get the majority of members there.
Yes.
Okay?
I wanted to mention one thing, that you should all be prepared to be interviewed, because once the students take you around the building and videotape that portion, they're going to sit you down as a panel and interview you.
Oh, okay.
Be fun.
That'll be
Okay.
okay.
It'll be student interviewers, so you can imagine their questions will be very pointed. And the last thing I have to report on today, today's 9/11, and I've been signing 9/11 all day. And this morning I had the opportunity to go over to Spooner Street, where we went to the 9/11 memorial, and there was a presentation at 9:45 this morning. And it was great to have a moment of reflection. I do remember my time back in 2001. I was in Atlanta, Georgia during that period of time. I was at a training where we were going to introduce wireless technology, Wi-Fi, into the school system. And our system engineer and myself, Alan McLean, we were back, it was my technology days. We were there learning on the new technology, the deployment, installation. And I remember one of the attendees of the workshop went out for a break and came back, and he just happened to watch the news. And from that moment on, I think that the next 4 or 5 days was pretty much devastation for the country. I was stuck in Atlanta for 3 days, but I can remember very vividly and clearly how I felt for the people that were in the World Trade Centers. On top of that, we lost Jennifer Kane, who's a Plymouth resident, and went to our schools, went to Hedge Elementary. But it was a very great, very good presentation today by the town, and I just wanted to bring that up tonight, that it's a tragic thing that happened, but I think it's a really honorable thing that the community of Plymouth continues to recognize the people that contributed their effort and lost their lives on such a senseless and tragic situation. So I just want to let you know I attended and represented the school district this morning, so thank you.
Thank you. My notes say there are no retirements this evening, or am I incorrect? Do we have retirements this
Yep,
evening?
there's 3 retirements.
Oh, we do?
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
thank you.
Lana Correa, who's a student activities monitor after 13 years of service. Alan Cretinon, who's our school carpenter, will be leaving us shortly in November after 35 years. And John Lynch, a second shift custodian of 19 years of service.
On behalf of Plymouth Public School Committee, we congratulate these employees and wish them a happy retirement.
Correspondence, Mr. Gordon?
No correspondence this evening.
Okay. The next item is to maybe a brief review, if necessary, on the school compensation benefit study that was requested and paid for by town meeting a year or 2 ago.
Yes, we had the opportunity to receive the compensation study that was completed, and it was presented at the Board of Selectmen meeting about 2 weeks ago. We had the opportunity to receive the study. It was released the Friday before. I sent it to school committee for you to have an opportunity to take a look at it. It's a very comprehensive study. It is very wide in scope for positions in the town side. It also includes positions in the school department side. One of the dilemmas that we have when you work on a study of this nature is really trying to ascertain the complexities of compensation and benefits. Compensation is relatively easy. Benefits are much more difficult because you really have to pick through contracts to get at the core of the benefits. So the document has been reviewed by Town Hall. I sent it to you, the school committee. The Board of Selectmen had the opportunity to have hear a presentation from the organization that completed the report. I believe tomorrow night the Finance Committee will have a presentation very similar to the Board of Selectmen. At the close of the meeting with the Board of Selectmen a couple of weeks ago, when the study was released, there was absolutely no action by the Board of Selectmen. They actually said that they would defer action on the study until they had an idea on how to digest the information that was within the document. And I put this in the agenda. Dr. Sorensen and I discussed this last week, that we would put it on the agenda for information, but there really is no action on this agenda item. It's more information as to how we look at compensation. The problem that you have with this study is that there are only a small sampling of school districts that were looked at. We have been, and the school department, we have been compiling this information for years. So we do our own compensation study for like school districts, and we do report that information, and we use it for a variety of reasons in our school district. The difficult part is to actually pick apart the benefit side, which we have done in years past. So this information is not new to the school district. It's probably new to the town side, where they can actually have a comparison of how towns are compensated, town employees are compensated. So for our purposes, we have shared this information in our budget book with town meeting in years past. We've shared it with the Board of Selectmen and the community at large. So when the study was proposed, it was decided that the school would be included in the study. I urge you to take a look at it, but most of the information that you see within the study is information that we've shared with you in the past. So with that said, Dr. Sorensen, I turn it back to you.
Committee members with any questions or response to that agenda item? Okay.
I do.
Mr. Bailey.
Do we have anything, because at another meeting in town the other day, this came up already. So it's going to come up now, it's out there. So do we have anything where we're working on quantifying what you mentioned as the benefits part?
Yeah, we do have information regarding our complete benefits package. The only issue that is hanging out there is the special act and what the benefit package value is for a retiree. And that's something that the town is struggling with, of how to really quantify that. But we do have the majority of items in a table format that really quantifies what our health benefits are on top of compensation. So we do have that. We have collected, we need to update it, but it is what we've tried to do, opposed to just showing our column and lane and years of service adjustments. We've tried to show exactly what the total package is for an employee of the school district, where you have contractual allowances, for example, health insurance and things of that nature. So we do have that. We've been working on it. Dr. Gould actually started doing that a couple of years ago, and we
Good write-up a few years ago.
and we need to update that for current data. But it is very comprehensive. It's very similar to the information that you see in the compensation study that was provided by the organization that provided it for the town.
When do we think it would be ready?
Well, I would say that we're engaging in negotiations soon, so
Right, that's why I'm
we
asking.
need to have that ready. So I would anticipate our negotiations will start in October, and shortly around that period of time, we should see a document that we can look at.
Any other questions? In your packet was the superintendent's checklist, which is an annual checklist. That goes to the Department of Education, is that correct?
Yes, the superintendent's checklist isn't something that I kind of think of things I should be doing. It would be a little bit shorter than this, but it is a document that has been published as a benchmarking tool for districts and superintendents to gauge when documents and submissions are required by the Department of Education. This is a document that we included into the school committee agenda probably 11 or 12 years ago. It is just an idea that we had way back to allow the school committee to identify when certain benchmarks were required by the school district. So it is for your information. It also does list the individual in the district who has the responsibility, or individuals who have the responsibility of submitting certain levels of documentation or submissions to the Department of Education, and also timelines for when certain reports are to be filed with the Department of Ed. So it is in your agenda tonight for information.
Any questions? Ms. Badger?
I just have a quick observation. My question is, and I think I know the answer, are some of these every other year?
Yes.
Okay.
Some of them are every other year, depending on the cycle of a report that would be due.
Okay, because I just saw some that were 16 and just wanted to make sure
Yep.
that, that's what I figured they were, but
Yeah, this is,
like,
this isn't something that we
put together, it's just the names
put
are
together.
put in? Okay,
The only thing we do is add the person
responsibility.
responsible. It comes directly from the Department of Ed.
okay, that's what I figured, but I just wanted to make sure. Thank you.
You have an eye for those details.
It's
I just
interesting,
messed up one at work.
it's interesting that over the years, it's grown and grown and grown and grown.
Yeah.
I think it originally started as a one-page spreadsheet.
Yes, and my hair gets less and less and less.
Okay, thank you. All right, and now we have the chunk of our meeting here to discuss the articles that will be on town meeting floor, and I will ask Dr. Maestas to walk us through that.
Yes, the first article is Article 16, and we have up on the screen, it'll come back up. This is, Article 16 is Overy Street eminent domain taking, and this is for fall town meeting, and this is to take a look at the proposed road changes to Overy Street. And you have up on the screen, and I'll kind of point to them, and maybe I'll get that wireless mic so I can show you. So I'm not sure how many have followed over time the Overy Street development, but Overy Street is really staging for an improvement. So what we're concerned about is the Overy Street. This is Overy Street here. You'll notice that this is the courthouse parking lot. You'll notice this is all this courthouse corridor. So what they're proposing is coming down Overy Street by Mayflower. You drive down the road, and there's a proposal to put a rotary here to allow traffic to move freely. And then you come down, and there is another rotary, which is what this article is relative to. So the Article 16 is to take by eminent domain property that is in this section right here. So in these two quadrants, you'll notice that there is a piece of property where the rotary would impinge on the school department property. So you'll notice this small section here and this small section here would be taken so that that rotary could be inserted for access to the school. Now, this has gone through a significant amount of engineering, but from what they say, that by widening this substantially, it will allow traffic to flow through their in their terms, it would be an easier drive to go through Overy Street. On a busy day, this is extremely congested, and they believe that it will help. Now, keep in mind that we would also have to move the middle section back a little bit. I think you know there's a curb cut, and there's also some marble planting areas at the entrance to the school. That would probably have to be moved back a little as well. But you can actually see that's what this article is, and it's really taking by eminent domain property that is on record as school department property.
Mr. Begley?
They're not taking, we have to sign it over to them, right? They can do that for the private owners, but not for the school.
Yeah.
We have to sign it over to them. So they're not taking ours by eminent domain, but
But all this is eminent domain.
I did have a question.
Yes, Mr. Bagley.
Have we looked at it from a safety point of view for our children? Because the roundabout with kids that are, new drivers and everything, that might be not a very safe situation.
I think those are questions that we have for the engineers that actually designed this. So I think that's something that we would want to ask. We have not had an opportunity to talk with the designers of this particular model, and that's something that we would enjoy the opportunity to see what they say about that. But I'm not sure how many people in town realize, but students park at the county parking lot across the road.
Across the way.
So they actually have to cross, we have a crosswalk there for them, and it is a school caution zone. So there are lights that turn on, and that is something that we have had there for a number of years. So I don't know how that it plays into a rotary at that intersection.
Ms. Badger.
When, I don't know if I missed it in here, but, so the project would take place during the summer, I have that piece. But would it, can it be fully completed during the summer, and what kind of traffic, like, what
Those are good
impact
questions.
for buses and other
Yep.
things that, summer
Yep.
school and different things?
Yeah, I met with the Director of Department of Public Works, and, I asked some of these same questions, and I think we would probably need to get the engineers in who actually designed this to actually look at timeline from start to finish, and actually what the obstructions would be, because we still have a great deal of traffic on that road, even when school's out. There's a lot of activities at North, great deal of activities at the hospital.
Yeah.
That's the emergency entrance to the hospital.
Yeah.
I have two. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Yes, sir.
And our sign, is our sign being moved? You said there were marble areas, but I didn't hear sign.
The sign is right in that path.
So the sign
The
has to be moved
illuminated
too.
LED sign that we went to town meeting for
Right.
approval, yeah.
So we just have to move it back a
Would
little
have to be
bit?
moved in my view, would have to be moved north, probably about 10 feet.
Okay, so up
Yep.
this way, same, as close to the street as it
Yeah.
is now, just,
Probably be at an angle, opposed to being straight.
okay. And
Go ahead.
my other quick question is, I was thinking about the parking across the street. Is part of that other corner taking a chunk out of where the students go in and out of that parking lot as well?
No, we actually created a crosswalk that is directly across from the entrance to that parking lot. So it's actually down the road. If you go up north, you'll notice there's a new crosswalk there. We inserted a new crosswalk last year because students were wanting to cross directly across in the parking lot and wouldn't go all the way to the corner and then make the turn.
Okay.
So what we did is we moved with permission from, and we granted by the police department and Department of Public Works, we moved that about 50 feet down the road east from the intersection.
But where the students would be driving to enter into the parking lot, that's not affected either?
No,
Okay.
no.
I'm really glad about the crosswalk that we moved, but I think Mr. Bagley brings up a good question about the traffic circle, because if you're downtown Plymouth, where the new traffic circle is by the waterfront,
Yeah.
and you look at the tourists trying to figure out how to cross and where to cross and when to cross and which way to look, and I happened to be hanging around there for some peculiar reason, and I was observing that. But the thing I want to add to that is that 3 times last year, I had to arrive at North in the morning, about 5 minutes after the tardy bell. And I witnessed not the students driving in crazy, the students' parents driving them to try to beat that tardy bell.
That's right.
And and when they would come in and whip their way around, and the car wouldn't even stop, and the kid would jump out. When that traffic
me,
circle is
I
there, that
know.
concerns me.
That was me, I'm sorry.
So I think if we have a chance to talk to the engineers, I mean, I can imagine what that's going to do at 5 minutes after the tardy bell.
Yeah, and to go back to my initial identification, Mr. Begley is absolutely right. This article is to take by eminent domain property that is not school department property, because the school department property it belongs to the town already, but eminent domain is they would have to take it from the county, they would have to take it from Beth Israel, they'd have to also take it from the other intersection, which is down by the courthouse. So there's property that has to be taken as well. So this article is probably going to raise quite a bit of question on town meeting floor, because the property owners are going to want to know pretty much the same information that you've asked tonight.
Okay. Any other discussion on this item?
Just one.
Go ahead.
last thing. When would we have a chance to, has this been through the planning board and everything already?
I believe so. I believe it has.
May I ask, this is a draft. Can there be room for any type of suggestions, edits, and changes? Because
I would say-
I have to parlay from Dennis's comment with
Yeah.
safety. I mean, thinking of first responders, rotaries are a nightmare.
Yeah.
Contingent to kids getting in, it's a bottleneck in between the high school, the senior center, and the emergency room. What's the impact?
I will relay to the DPW, who is working with Mass Department of Transportation, to really take a look at the opportunity for the school committee to have comment on the design and ask questions that you believe are important to the introduction of a rotary type intersection.
I'm just wondering why that's the option.
Good question.
It's a bottle, because again, if you've all been down to Cape Cod at high traffic times, sitting at the Rotary, it creates a copious amounts of traffic. So coming in from either side, I don't understand the need for two rotaries as well, but it'd be nice to kind of expand on that and
Yeah, well.
see what
we
some
can,
alternatives may be.
They do say in their write-up that they believe traffic will back up 900 feet into the other intersection at certain points. But that's kind of a common occurrence, where you would have, don't block the grid, that sort of signage.
Mhm.
So if we don't sign this over to them, that project stops. So they need to talk to us. That's the way I look
Yeah,
at it.
I'm sure they would be
They need
interested
to
in
make us
talking.
part of it, right?
Well, to both of these points, Mr. Begley's and Mr. Selly's point, this is going to be a very talked about article on town meeting floor. So I think many people want to hear information. The engineers should have the opportunity to present themselves, but the school committee would like to hear that information prior to town meeting.
Yeah, definitely. Should have been prior to, I'm sorry. Shouldn't have talked, sorry about that.
Yeah. I knew that, I heard that there was a design in the works, but when we got it, as part of the town meeting agenda, I was pretty surprised to see the detail. I didn't think it would be this far along. And again, I would feel much better if there was a big draft across the
Right,
document, you know?
right. Because they didn't discuss with you or any of the staff
I know
as
they just
to
presented it to us.
busing concerns
Yeah.
or anything else.
Not a thing.
And seeing as how they just had to redo the one in the center of town because they didn't make it big enough to handle trucks.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a whole stream of buses going in and out of there.
And ambulances.
Fire trucks. and-
Well, I think the police want to chime in too.
I hope so.
So I have, again, I have not had the opportunity to talk to anyone. I talked to the DPW director about it, and again, it was designed for the projects. Mass Department of Transportation and Jacobs Engineering are the ones that did the traffic study and the proposal. So, but this already looks like, in my view, if it's eminent domain, they're already looking to
Yeah,
take
it's
property
done deal on
to
that part.
to put this in.
Yeah, this is like a done
Yeah.
deal.
Done deal, yeah.
Okay.
Well, they're involving South Street too, and the flow of traffic down at the other end, and how you get in and out of that, it's the market and the gas station
Mhm.
there. Yeah.
Okay, well, let's move on to 19.
Yes, 19, how can I phrase this? Town manager Oregi received a letter from the mayor of Lowell, and the mayor of Lowell sent similar letters to communities across the Commonwealth that have charter schools within them. And the letter was a plea for communities to support and promote some level of reform for charter school expenditure. Currently, schools around the Commonwealth who have, if you have a charter school funds are pulled right from your Chapter 70 dollars. And what Lowell's proposal is to ask the state to fund charter schools in their entirety. I think it's a good premise to look at how charter schools are funded. I think the concern that many communities have is the way charter schools actually receive their funding is it's a 6-year model. The first year of a charter school existence, they're funded by 100% of the cost for the charter school. And for 5 years in a row, it's 25% for each year that follows, meaning that the town is reimbursed by 25% of the cost of the charter school. After the 6th year, which on the 7th year, the 100% of the charter school funding comes right from Chapter 70. And one of the things that I was a little bit uneasy with this particular proposal is that there's no identification of where those funds would come from. Because if you ask a legislative body to propose a change like this, they're going to say, well, okay, well, where's the money? Where's the money coming from? So my fear is that it would come from some other source of funding. So where it sounds like a good premise where we would perhaps see an increase to funding to be able to fully fund charter schools through an independent source, it's not identified where those funds will come from. So I had the opportunity to be at the Board of Selectmen's meeting when they were hearing Article 19, 26, 27, and 29, and they asked me to comment on Article 19, and I provided basically the same synopsis that I have provided to you tonight. I provided to the Board of Selectmen that I think it's, in concept, it's a great idea, but in operation, in theory, where's the money gonna come from? So with that said, Dr. Sorensen, I turn it back to you.
I'll add, before we open it up discussion, let me add one more piece of information for the school committee to consider. The town manager encouraged me to make this an action item because for some reason the town manager feels that we ought to take a position on this. I personally expressed to her that it feels incomplete to me, not knowing where the money would come from. How could I vote for something when the money could come, I'll be silly, it comes out of school lunches. I mean, we don't know where it's going to come from. But for some reason, she feels that we should have a position on this, and I'm not saying I agree with that. So now we're up for discussion. Ms. Badger.
I have to say, I agree with you. It kind of, to me, when I was reading it, was a little bit like some of those proposals that we kind of vote on for the conference every November.
Yes, the
Yeah,
mask.
thank you.
The resolution.
Yeah, the
never got
resolutions, there's not enough meat behind it to make you understand what it really means and its implications down the road. So I agree with you.
Ms. Hunt.
Is this something that we could share with our colleagues at MASC or maybe MTA? Find out if they have a position, if they've already looked at this. I mean, they've got usually full staff to look at all this stuff and perhaps give some addendums or reasons why they would be for or against that. I mean, is that something that we could do? And I don't know if Tom has seen this before, or if MTA has a position on it, or.
Mr. Bagley.
We did vote on that. So that was one of the resolutions last year that Mass came up with. And they did talk about the charter funding and reimbursing the municipalities and everything. We did support it. So we can't, I mean,
It's not this exact
thanks for
same
Melissa.
thing.
It's not the exact same thing that what Lowell is trying, they're looking for 100%
Right.
reimbursement,
Right.
which makes it more a political statement than a reality. And it's just people playing games with
Yeah.
the process, I think.
But I mean, I would just like to hear if MassCat had a position on it, or if they were looking at it, or we ran it by them, and I don't know, I just would like that kind of extra set of eyes of people that do this every day and weed it through, you know what I'm saying? That's their job.
It also doesn't seem to have any sponsor by any legislator that would put this through anyway.
And that's a really good point.
Yeah, yeah.
When this gets
You
up-
have to have somebody that's gonna take it through. And there's nobody attached to it, just the
Mrs. Trisselli.
soul.
It's in its infancy, basically.
Yeah,
So
it is.
We'd like to obviously have, some
More meat.
resolution behind the burden I think we have fiscally with the charter school funding, but this is too vague. It just
Right.
seems like it's language, there's nothing really substantial behind it, so I think, to agree with the chair, I don't think we can necessarily open this up on the floor, because it puts us in a precarious
Right.
situation.
Mr. Bagley?
Actually, I kind of am annoyed that it was put there without, before running it. In other words, come to us and ask us if we want to do it, before you go and you put it out there and you kind of try to back us into a public vote for something that's half-baked.
That was my first thought.
It should, so hopefully it won't happen again in the future.
So I'm getting that if we were to receive more information, we would discuss this again.
Correct.
That's what I'm hearing. We don't have enough information to even discuss it.
No.
Agreed.
Yes?
The legislative liaison we have from the board, can we connect with our legislators and see what the language is from a state perspective?
Yeah,
Is
but
anybody,
I don't think there is one. That's
Yeah, I
what
don't think there
It's
is
not
one.
or is
even
there any
that far.
committees or somebody that's discussing some of the minutia of this? Because evidently, if this is something that's being brought up to our district, it's probably being brought up, I'm guessing, in other districts as well.
Okay. So you're saying the same thing. Until we have more information, we're not in a position to take action on this item.
Right.
So that's the message that we'll send back. We're willing to discuss it when we have more information.
Excellent.
And it's so, would you be opposed to, sending this to Glenn Kuchar and just seeing what
No.
he had to say? I have a relationship with him if you want me to do it, or
I
you can come
think that's
from you.
perfect. No, go right ahead.
Okay.
Committee okay with that? Okay. The more information we get, Dr. Maestas.
Yeah, they may be queuing up for this because.
Right, well, that's why, they might already have information.
It's gone out to, we're not the only ones. I asked
No,
Town Manager Reggie this afternoon, and she believes that this went to pretty much every community in Massachusetts that has a charter school. So, that's what she said.
Okay. And now the remaining articles are about the solar project.
Yes, we have 3 articles that are all tied in with the solar project. Article 26 addresses the leasing of a portion of the non-building property with the provisions of Mass General Law 40, Section 3, allowing for leasing of space in a building, including school buildings, for a period of up to 30 years without town meeting approval. However, in this case, the sitting of the solar canopies is in the parking lot, which would involve the leasing of space other than building, so it would require town meeting approval. So basically, we're leasing the space above the parking lot, which is a town meeting approved option. Now, this is, the opinion of Article 26 is in direct interpretation of Koppelman and Page. Article 26, 27, and 29 are all worded and researched by Koppelman and Page, and those are the recommendations that have been placed on town meeting floor, okay? So this is the first article, Article 26.
Okay. Committee members with any need for clarification or regarding these solar panel articles? This is not new to us. We knew this was coming.
Now, keep in mind, the solar panel project is a part of our two-pronged approach to getting turf and lights, the turf project that we put forward, so,
That's critical.
yes.
Sorry.
Go on.
That's critical. So when they do the presentation, when you guys do the presentation, to tie the two together, so that they realize this isn't something new, we're coming back and doing what we said we were gonna do.
Yes.
This
This
is
is the
the,
part we said
putting
we
it
could
together.
get paid for, and this is, yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
in
think
order to do the thing
the
you
solar
approved.
project proposal that we presented at the Springtown meeting, the solar project was instrumental, I believe, in us moving forward with.
Yes.
And this is that follow-through piece.
Yeah.
correct.
Okay. Article 27 authorizes agreements for payment in lieu of taxes. The article can certainly be revised to limit the applicability to the specified locations. Now, this language, we had a question last meeting with the board, with the Finance Committee. The initial language that was in the document that you have tonight the initial language indicated that the Board of Selectmen had the ability to approve pilot agreements. And the language really specifies that it has to go through a process, which is Finance Committee, Board of Selectmen, and Town Meeting. So the Finance Committee asked if we would go back and get clarification from the attorneys at Copeland and Page, and they recommended that we are very specific on Article 27 to identify that the article can and will be only for the grounds of Plymouth South High School and Plymouth South Middle School. So this will be, it'll give the Board of Selectmen the opportunity to arrange for a pilot agreement with the developer. And that's what this Article 27 is in reference to.
Mr. Bagley?
Question on this was, in the past, I think we found out that we couldn't do 30-year things. We had to break it up, remember, into 20-year and then a 10-year extension or something like that. I know we had to break it up into pieces because we didn't have the legal authority to enter into a 30-year. So do the selectmen have the authority to do a 30-year pilot agreement, but we don't have the authority, because the next one is the actual, us doing the process for 30 years?
Yes, it does take town meeting. The school committee can enter into a 20-year agreement without
Anybody giving us
Yes.
permission?
the 30-year has to go to town meeting.
Good.
Okay.
That's the important part. Okay.
And when we entered into the agreement with the solar arrays that we installed for our big solar projects, we did grant the ability for those to the developer for the 20-year.
Right.
Okay. Article 29 is the requirement imposed by the Municipal Modernization Act requiring 2/3 vote of town meeting to approve a lease agreement of this nature. So in order for us to engage in a lease, this project has to go in front of town meeting, and it's a requirement by Mass General Law, Municipal Modernization Act, and they require a 2/3 vote of town meeting to engage.
So, because we'll have to review for town meeting, the question will come up on town meeting floor about the money here. In other
Yes.
words, explain how we will end up owning the lights at the end of
Yes.
10 years.
So the project is a total of $4.2 million. So the $4.2 million will pay for all the solar arrays, the canopies, the electrical to tie them in, for the lights for the fields, and all the installation of all that. Okay, so a developer will come in, and we have had a significant amount of interest on the RFP. The RFP was put out on the street about 2 weeks ago. So there's a significant amount of interest from solar developers. They want this project. So what they're gonna do is, we're estimating that it's a $4.2 million project. They will submit their best estimate of what they can do the project for. It'll go through a selection process, and a developer will be selected to engage in the project. So they will go out and secure their funding. They will secure $4.2 million. They will get the project installed. What they'll end up doing is selling solar services to the school department. So we will buy solar electricity for an agreed upon
Kilowatt
cents per
hour.
kilowatt hour. Right now, we pay 8 cents a kilowatt hour. The going rate in the community is about 22 cents a kilowatt hour. So in a sense, we save on how much we pay for the kilowatts. So basically, what happens is we will generate about half the electricity to operate Plymouth South High School, keeping in mind that this is a very attractive option, because by us buying energy at 8 kilowatt cents or whatever that agreement comes in, it's also paying for the lights at the same time. So our energy bill will actually have, it'll include what it costs for the lights. It'll actually cover the $4.2 million through buying it back through the kilowatt price. But keep in mind, the energy companies have some very attractive features when they go and build a solar project like this. They get significant rebates for the batteries. They get significant energy credits for the solar arrays, and we've also applied for a $450,000 grant to actually bring that cost down even more. So the lower that we can get this project in price down from that 4.2 million, it will actually create a kilowatt hour price that is very attractive. So how we get the lights in 10 years, from the date that we install and operate the solar project, the return of investment for the light is 10. After 10 years, our price per kilowatt hour will drop even more because we will have paid the lights off. So in a sense, how we get the lights, we have no upfront cost other than legal representation to do the legwork to get the articles on town meeting floor. That's what we'll pay for. But as far as any of the installation, any of the management, any of the maintenance, any of the upgrades that they will have to make because a piece of equipment went out, that is all on the developer. So they have a huge stake in making this work. In a sense, it's very similar to a mortgage. Many of the solar projects that are on municipal property today, they are bought by private investors about a year after they get installed. Very similar to a mortgage, because it's a great investment, and a municipality like Plymouth or a school department, we don't qualify for some of the solar credits that a developer can qualify for. So it's great that we partner with an organization that can come in, get the energy credits, get the rebates, and they can actually sell us energy for a very, very good price, which is how we will actually fund the lights at Plymouth South High School. We're buying energy anyway, might as well get it for a very good price. Keep in mind, the other thing that's very attractive with the batteries that are going to be installed on the South Campus, there are demand charges that are assessed to electric bills. Demand charges are for peak times for electricity purchase. What we will do is we will program the release of electricity from our batteries to be able to power our school and power the lights at the most opportune time, so we don't incur demand charges, which there's an increase to electricity during those demand times, which our plan is to have a smart campus in the sense that we're monitoring our electricity, and we believe that our stadium lights will be running primarily off a battery, which is going to be a great option for us. The lights on the new fields will be 100% LED, which are even more efficient than the lights that we have on the stadium that we have at South today. So it seems to be working out. The plan that we put forward at town meeting in April will, with successful town meeting votes on these 3 articles, will allow this to move forward.
Questions, more clarification needed? And this one will require a 2/3 on town meeting floor?
This one will require 2/3 at town meeting floor. One of the
Article
things-
27 for the selectmen and the pilot program, that does not require 2/3?
No, we actually we got unanimous approval from the Board of Selectmen and also Finance Committee to move this forward to town meeting. So it has actually met that first benchmark. So we were successful with that, with the exception that the Finance Committee wanted some clarification on Article 27, which that language has been updated and discussed tonight.
Okay.
Just one level of information for the committee. I'm going to be meeting with Dan Riley and his team to put together a very similar video representation of exactly how this project comes together, and we will show that at town meeting, so everyone understands how all these bits and pieces come together, which will really tie in with Mr. Begley's point on this is the second piece of the project. First piece was town meeting approval for fields. The second piece was the lights that we did present on April 2017 town meeting.
Okay. Now, I think that video presentation will go really well.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. I think it really helps explain a difficult concept.
Very
Because
difficult
this is
time.
something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
the town has not really
Yeah, 'cause
dealt with in the past.
People are really confused too now, like about the municipal application that's just taking place. And actually, everybody should opt in unless they already have solar panels. We should probably opt out because we have the energy, but otherwise, everybody will do better on it. But that's at 10.33.
Well, I get.
That's the best rate we could get
we-
now.
We have,
For 3 years,
Yeah.
though. We have it for 3 years, so that if NSTAR goes up, every 6 months they put in for a raise. So if they go up on the supply side, it won't go up for the residents of Plymouth. For 3 years, they'll be guaranteed the 10.33, so that's the good part. But with the confusion in doing this, it should be interesting.
yeah, and one of the things that people have asked, the Board of Selectmen have asked, and also the Finance Committee, is they're asking, well, what is the price of the project? $4.2 million is an estimate. We haven't opened the bids yet. It could come in less than 4.2
Yeah,
million, it
they
could
could,
come in
yeah,
higher.
yeah.
But I will tell you that there are several significant companies that have requested information, and they will be bidding on this
Yeah,
project.
good.
So it's very competitive, which is in our favor.
Very good.
Sidebar issue is the teachers are excited about having cover over their cars.
We might have to,
Yeah, this is
we might have to auction those off.
Yes, oh, that's
Yeah.
prime
Watch
parking,
it.
right, yeah, that's right, get there early, right?
Raffle those off.
Okay, we can ready to move off this agenda item and move to, under reports, we had fundraising update in our package. Anybody want to discuss anything on the fundraising? Okay, moving along. Committee member reports. Anybody from the committee have, Mrs. Hunt?
I actually don't have any reports, but I wanted to mention that, I heard from, just to jump in the bandwagon with all the accolades for Plymouth South, I had a friend who's from another school who visited South for a volleyball game the other day and texted me saying, I'm at the Taj Mahal, and I didn't know what she was talking about. And she said their entire team parents were just floored and amazed at how wonderful our school was. And I know Bridgewater Rainham is not an old school, it's a fairly new school as well, and they were just blown away by it. So I thought I would pass that information along. Yeah, I didn't know what she was talking about. I'm like, where are you?
Taj
She
Mahal,
goes,
right,
I'm at
yeah.
South.
They-
So
they
she's
used
very
to call
impressed. I
the
told her to
library in
watch for the
Plymouth
floating
Taj Mahal.
floor. I don't know if she could or not, but they were very impressed.
Yeah, so the Taj Mahal's changed from
North
the
to
South
south.
Street Library down to
Yes,
South.
exactly.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Any other reports from committee members?
I have
Mr. Begley?
just a quick item. So also going on in town right now is the Charter Review Committee. And on 9/21, we're going to have it open to other committees and in the town, elected and non-elected, to come before the Charter Review and just give any feedback they may have and how the process works in town, any changes to the charter if they think there needs to be any, or everything's working great. That feedback's welcomed as well. So we've done prior committees was the first week. We've done prior charter committees were the first week. We did the executive session with the selectmen. We've done, the legislature was our last meeting, and now we're up to other committees in town to try to get their feedback, because quite a few of them are, such as the school committee, are defined within the charter. So if you would just put that on your radar, 9/21, it's Thursday night, 6:30, right here.
And that's the night of the building committee.
So we'll have to miss you.
Yeah, no, and Dave Pegg.
Well, David Peck will be, he'll probably have somebody else cover for him that night so that he
But
can
he's the
be at
chair.
our meeting.
Oh, well,
So that's what we have vice chairs for.
6:30, you said?
6:30
no,
PCIS.
I thought that, what's his name, the vice chair wasn't gonna be.
I'll
there.
send out a note to everybody also,
Yeah,
just so
yeah,
you'll
okay.
have the
All right.
details.
All right, thank you.
So twice I can't come.
Ms. Badger?
I think it's because we all think it was forever ago, but the school opened. I can't tell you how many people at the Y have been like, I love that. Look up, look up. That was great. And have just sung her praises and just the whole presentation itself. But the look up is all over town. Definitely in the Y. People are very excited.
Mentioned to, yes,
We
So
just,
it was great.
Just to follow up on that, the Y is embracing the theme, and that it'll be the theme for the year for the Y.
Look at
Yeah,
that.
that's good.
They're picking up posters to put in the Y tomorrow.
Great.
So they're going to really encourage kids through all the Y programs to really look above opposed to below.
Yeah.
So
So
we encourage that.
there's gonna be
Excellent.
T-shirts.
Well,
No
No
t-shirts.
t-shirts.
I'll go to Savers and get one for you.
Last year's
That's a lot. I'm
True, though.
Okay, PYDC, any report?
I could speak to this briefly, Dr. Sorensen. We had a summer meeting, August 18th. Had a few items that we spoke out. We have a new director, coordinator for the Substance Abuse Prevention Collaborative, the regional partner that we have, SAPSI, Mariel Paul. She has worked for Beth Israel Deaconess under the Learn to Cope program that they have out of the hospital, so she's familiar with our work, and we welcomed her, and she's been meeting with a lot of people to get to know the community. We also spoke about the SBIRT screening that we do in grades 7 and 9. SBIRT stands for Screening, Brief Intervention, and Referral to Treatment for students that may need assistance with substance use. And we also talked about our Preventure partnership with Beth Israel Deaconess Plymouth, which we look forward to implementing this year. So as you all know, the community forum was on August 16th, and information will be going out to families shortly regarding that program. And then lastly, Healthy Plymouth, which is part of PYDC, and Beth Israel spoke about the townwide event, Amazing Race event that they'll be doing September 23rd, bless you, 1 to 4 p.m. located, starting at Nathaniel Morton Elementary School. There'll be, just like the Amazing Race television show, a series of places locations within the community which people will go to in teams of 4 to take on challenges and to find certain things. And the first 3 teams to finish, I believe, get prizes, and the largest fundraising team as well. So it should be a good event, which will go to support the Healthy Plymouth initiatives and the Community Garden initiatives specifically, which have been a great resource for us as well. And our next meeting, is Friday, this Friday, the 15th.
8 a.m.
I'm personally excited about the prevention program. I think it's steeped in good research, and the targeting its student who would be a high risk should have great reward to it. I'm looking forward to the results.
Yes, so are we.
Absolutely. I'll give you an update as things progress with that.
Mhm.
Okay. We have a meeting tomorrow at 4 with the team, so.
There was no building committee meeting, am I correct? Between our last meeting and this one?
No, there wasn't. Oh, wait a minute, yes, there was.
There was?
I have a thing.
Yeah,
When
you
was our
were
last meeting?
coming back from Japan.
It's been so long, I have no
No,
idea.
it's August 10th.
Yeah, actually, it was the
I
day
can
after I
run
came
over.
back from Japan,
that's
and I
right.
didn't make that meeting.
Yeah, and I was there, so I have the
you have the
report
report.
for it. I do.
Well, bring it up.
Well, anyway, at that point, in August 10th, the new town hall was 95% complete, and the furniture, I guess, is all in because it was supposed to be in on August 21st. The potential move date was, well, now we know it's the Halloween, right, on the
Yeah.
31st. That's quite a day to move. And the completion date that they stated was going to be around 9/15, but they have a lot to do with town meeting and all, and they just couldn't do the move from one place to another until then. They were having a committee tour the Saturday after Labor Day. I didn't hear any more about that, though. Did you go on anything like
Actually,
that?
I sent an email to David Peck asking him about that, and he told me there wasn't one.
All right, because I never heard any more from it. And, okay, on Plymouth South High School, they were still doing the big punch list. They had 113 pages. They're really working like crazy. I imagine they've got it all done now, right? No, there's still things that are punching that aren't seen, right? Yeah,
Getting
they're
rid of
in
the
the
pencil
background,
punch
yeah, okay. But anyway, they're working on the road, and it says the administration, teachers, and kids and everybody like it. That's a good thing, since they're gonna have it. But I think everybody, the whole community does. And they were talking about the synthetic turf. They were putting in a change order for it. Sims House, that's really all been done, and it's been, I got a management in there, so we're all set with that. The Russell Street parking lot, because we were gonna put a parking lot beside the town hall, and it came in about a couple million more than they expected. Well, now they have a new OPM out, and the design has been revised, and they planning a March through November construction for it, so it is gonna go forward. And the North Plymouth Fire Station, they've got out an OPM, and I don't know what the results, we'll find out this week at the meeting. The salt shed is closer to a bid. Maritime facility down at the wharf is, they're still applying for the funding, but they're confident that they're gonna get the grant. And the next meeting is September 21st, and then it came up, it wasn't on our agenda, but it came up about the library. The library's going to, the main library is gonna need a roof, skylights, and chillers. So that's coming before us too. It said about $1 million. Yeah. So,
Okay, thank you for that report. Any questions to Ms. Burgess on Building Committee? Mr. Baker?
I have a question for Dr. Maestas. How are we doing on getting town meeting at Plymouth South High School? Are we nailed down on that?
I have put it out there, and it's something that we can do, but I have, tell you what, I can probably get more information by next Monday in our next meeting to see where that stands.
I don't want the window of opportunity to close.
Yep, I will work at it and get you some information by next week.
Cool.
Okay? It's out there. I've talked to Melissa Reggie about it, but we need to talk to
Steve.
to
Right?
Steve, yeah.
I think it's his decision.
and Steve was busy
Personnel.
with his
Yes.
function.
As you could see on the first day, we were very busy all summer. We've had 53 certificated appointments, 14 classified appointments, which cover things like custodial and para and things of that nature. We have 9 leaves of absences right now for a number of reasons, maternity, 1-year leaves, things of that nature, and 20 resignations. So it's been very, very busy with all the jumbling of people and names and meeting lots of people, so.
They all look so happy coming in.
They were thrilled. They, Dr. Maestas could share, numerous have shared from the new teacher orientation, which we changed a little bit this year till the opening day. They'd never seen anything like it. And other districts don't do this, so we're very fortunate from neighboring communities.
Yeah, I think that's great.
It's incredible.
It is great.
Homeschooling, I think we have one plan.
We actually have, as of our meeting last week, we had 8 more. So
Oh.
there are 9 plans that have
Wow.
been reviewed by Dr. Halpin's office, and they have met the guidelines for homeschool education in the Plymouth Public Schools, and I recommend approval of the 9 plans on the agenda tonight.
Okay,
I'll make a motion
we
to
have a motion
accept
to
them.
approve the homeschool plans,
moved
as
it.
seconded by Ms. Badger. And I'm going to do the vote electronically as soon as it comes up.
See.
And we're waiting on Margie.
I know. There it goes. It just came in. Yeah.
Okay, all in favor, that's unanimous, thank you. Warrants this evening.
Okay. Whereas school committee members have been provided with a copy of the cost center transfer and transaction summary report and the warrants for review, I move that the Plymouth School Committee accept and approve the report and accounts payable warrant number S091417 dated December 14th, 2017, in the amount of, and it's cut off. Can I read yours? Oh, there it is, yeah.
Oh, you
1
got- oh.
million, oh.
It was kind of.
Sorry, my screen cuts off the last word in each sentence. Is it up there? Oh,
Here it is,
okay.
here it
You can
is.
read that.
1,000,000.
$1,338,904.92 as presented. Thank you.
That's the motion. The second is made by Mr. Bagley on a question. We'll take the vote. It's unanimous. And now we have another warrant.
Okay. There we go. Whereas school committee members have been provided with a copy of the cost center transfer and transaction summary report and the warrant for review, I move that the Plymouth School Committee accept and approve the report and accounts payable warrant number S082417 dated August 24th, 2017, in the amount of.
Here it is.
I can read right up there.
Okay.
$774,719.65 as presented.
That's the motion.
No, second.
Seconded by Ms. Burgess. There's a question to that motion. Okay, we'll take the vote.
Where is it? It's not happening. I don't, mine says under discussion for some reason.
I'm sorry. Waiting on you.
I know, but it's not coming up.
Okay.
It says under discussion on mine. I don't know why. It didn't change. I hit sync. I joined the meeting because I could.
You're right. It's not your fault, Margie. I will take that vote, a roll call vote. All those in favor? That's unanimous.
I tried everything. I hit sync. I did everything I could.
And we have some obsolete materials. Dr. Mayestas.
Yes, tonight we have three items from Plymouth South Middle School, and they are items that are outdated, and they will be recycled. There are three items listed in the document tonight.
I'll move it.
Mr. Burgess moves the recommendation from administration regarding the obsolete materials, and the second it was done by Ms. Badger. Is there a question to that motion? Seeing none, we'll try to take that vote.
I like the way you wrote it.
It's not happening.
Any luck, Margie?
Oh, I didn't. Oh, yeah, now I did.
There you go.
Okay, that's unanimous. Thank you. Is there any other business to come before the committee, from committee members? Seeing none, we stand adjourned. Thank you very much.